Okay guys, big announcement that just took place minutes ago. This is me in post-editing mode. But Ross Chastain has been announced to fill in the number 42 car for Chip Ganassi Racing. This just is reported by multiple sources and replaced Matt Kenseth in the 42 car in 2021. This is a huge opportunity for Ross Chastain. I'm very happy for him. I always felt like he deserved a shot at the cup level, and when he's in good equipment, I feel like he can get the job done. So it's very cool to see him get this chance. As for what we're going to talk about in the episode later today regarding Bubba Wallace, because remember, at first, Bubba Wallace was offered a contract to the 42 car, and Bubba Wallace didn't take that spot, so it looks like something had to come up for Bubba Wallace for him to say no to Chip Ganassi Racing. Something must have happened to give him a better option at performance and at having a shot at winning in order for Bubba to turn this deal down. So it looks like that the story that we're going to talk about on Inside the Lines later today looks like there's some truth behind that story. Alright, but that's it, and now on to the video. NASCAR is just bonkers at the moment. A report came out of potentially the last great Coliseum getting a somewhat change to its surface in the future, and we got another update on Bubba Wallace and Denny Hamlin's future in NASCAR. Yo, what is up everyone? My name is Jett Krause and welcome back to the episode of Inside the Lines. Hope you guys are having a great day and thank you so much for joining me for today's episode. We have two stories to talk about here today. The first one regards around Bristol Motor Speedway. As you all know, we just had the night race at Bristol take place over the weekend on Saturday, and a report came out Friday night that was out of the blue. Basically, just like any other NASCAR news that has come out in 2020, it's news that no one expected. And this was another example. A report came out from Adam Stern that NASCAR and SMI are in early talks for Bristol Motor Speedway to have a change in its surface from asphalt to dirt in future races. Now, if this were to happen, this would not be the first time Bristol would hold dirt races. In fact, you go all the way back in 2000 and 2001, Bristol actually held a hybrid dirt track meant for the World of Outlaws. They were only running for those 2 years before discontinuing it in 2002 onwards. But Adam Stern did say that while they are having discussions about potentially holding future races at Bristol on dirt, they did not announce on which series it would take place. So we don't know if it's going to be in ARCA, trucks, or just for the Cup Series. We don't know at the moment. But let's say if this were to take place, I have a feeling it would fit more with the ARCA/Truck Series scene. ARCA Series, they've run on dirt before. Truck Series, they run at Eldora. So I feel like it would fit those two series a lot more. With the Xfinity and Cup Series, like I know dirt was part of the Cup Series schedule way back in the day, but I don't know. I feel like nowadays, at least for 2022, depending on when this thing, or if this thing were to be completed, I just don't see the Xfinity and Cup Series having races on dirt, at least for a points-paying race. And if this were to happen, I would hope that it would not replace one of the Bristol races. I like the spring and I like the fall races at Bristol for the Xfinity and Cup Series. I don't think it'd be a good idea to replace one for a dirt race. Again, this is all speculation at the moment because we're in early discussions. So by all means, this could be done by tomorrow. The rumor could be dead, or reports could be, that this report could be dead. So we shouldn't take this so seriously, but it's still a pretty big deal. And it's very surprising that it's NASCAR and SMI. It's not like you look at other racetracks, like for example, Fontana. That's a track owned by ISC, which is now part of NASCAR. So NASCAR can make the decision if they want to. If they want Fontana to go from a 2-mile racetrack to a short track, they can do that. But with Bristol, which is part of SMI that holds other racetracks like Atlanta, Charlotte, and tracks like that, to have a discussion like this, a major change to the track and how it's prepared and the surface of the racetrack, to be having discussions like this, it could be promising for future discussions on other racetracks. We know how bad Texas has been. Maybe in the future, NASCAR and SMI could talk about how can we improve Texas. I'm just speaking down the line. But the fact that NASCAR and SMI are having discussions about a radical change like this to one of its most favorite racetracks, it leaves me wondering, what about the other racetracks? Are NASCAR and SMI going to have talks about other racetracks in the future that could possibly need just a change of pace, or maybe some upgrades around the racetrack, or just some type of discussion in the future? But it does open up a lot of eyeballs on what NASCAR could do potentially with SMI in the future. Again, like I said, tracks like Texas, maybe Charlotte, they might do some form of change there. How about Atlanta? They might do a change there. I mean, there are numerous racetracks that NASCAR can take a look at and see, maybe we can talk to them about this racetrack or that racetrack. But it is going to be very interesting to see the discussions that NASCAR has with ISC, SMI, and the tracks that it owns. It could potentially make for a very fun future schedule, whether that be in 2022. We know the Fontana Shore track is coming there in 2 years. Who knows? We might see some new tracks join the schedule that SMI owns, or some tracks get revamped to have a better fan experience, or revamped for the on-track product to be better. Who knows? Everything's up in the air at this point for the future of NASCAR. But now on to our next story. It revolves around Bubba Wallace. Now, we're going to need to have a bit of a timeline regarding Bubba Wallace and his future, because it has been all over the place. So, at first, I want to say around Saturday's Michigan doubleheader. After Bubba Wallace scored another top 10 finish, he was asked about his future with the team. And he said that reportedly there could be big things happening. That's really all he said. He didn't give too much into what those big things mean, but something big could potentially be on the way. Then a report came out that Chip Ganassi Racing offered Bubba Wallace a contract to drive the number 42 car in 2021. And then we started to see rumors swirling around of a celebrity potentially investing in Richard Petty Motorsports. And many of us assumed that's what that big thing that Bubba Wallace was talking about. A lot of us predicted maybe certain drivers. Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin then came into the mix after Hamlin posted an Instagram photo of him in a simple casual t-shirt with the Air Jordan logo and a Toyota logo on the cover. However, Michael Jordan's brand said that this rumor is completely false. There are no involvement with Richard Petty Motorsports and Bubba Wallace and Denny Hamlin and all that whole discussion. And then it was announced that Bubba Wallace would then leave Richard Petty Motorsports, and that sort of just flat out killed the rumor of Michael Jordan and Hamlin having any sort of involvement with a NASCAR team in the future. And then something interesting took place. Later on, Germain Racing with Geico, which was their main sponsor, announcing that they would be leaving the team at the end of the season. Germain Racing announced that they would potentially be going up for sale. Then, Motorsport.com reported that Gaunt Brothers Racing and Daniel Suarez decided to split at the end of the season, which left the 96 car open for a slot, and reported that Bubba Wallace could be a likely candidate. Now, at first, when this story came out, people were thinking, why would Bubba go to that place? But then when you read the article, it talked about enhanced Toyota support. Denny Hamlin's name was once again thrown into the mix. Multiple sponsors coming into play that could help generate some buzz about the team. And then it started to make more sense. Well, now this is the latest installment in what's going to be Bubba's future in NASCAR in 2021. And this came from Bob Puckers in an episode of NASCAR Race Up before Saturday night's night race at Bristol. Bubba Wallace talked about on how rumors continue to point to Bubba Wallace driving for Denny Hamlin's new team. Now this could get interesting because when you think Denny Hamlin's new team, you think, how is that even possible? Obviously, NASCAR doesn't want Hamlin to make a new team because he's already part of Joe Gibbs Racing already has 4 cars. You can't have Denny Hamlin make a new team or else it could be perceived as just a 5th Gibbs car. Well, first of all, we have to understand how this would work. If Hamlin were to create a new team, he would have to get approval from NASCAR to own the team and make sure that this is his own team and has no affiliation with Joe Gibbs Racing. Hawkers also stated that Denny Hamlin's new team could be involved with Michael Jordan, but that's a possibility. It could be with or without him. It's not confirmed that Michael Jordan's in discussion. It's just a possibility. Now, how would this work? Obviously, when you need a team, you need charters. Well, according to this rumor or this report, Hamlin's team would purchase the Germain Racing charter, so for one car, for one driver, obviously, and would use the cars from Levine Family Racing for next season. Because 2021, they're going to be using the same package, the same everything that they're going to be using this year. So it would make sense you want to use the latest cars for next season. And Levi Family Racing already started to get some TRD support. It wouldn't make sense for them to use those race cars for 2021. And on top of that, you throw in TRD support. With Levi Family Racing shutting down, Toyota announced that they would be able to give more support, or at least benefit more teams with TRD development, maybe up to the standards of what we saw with Furniture Row Racing and Joe Gibbs Racing. So that's the rumor. Simply put, Denny Hamlin making a new team. Bubba Wallace is a likely candidate to drive for Hamlin's new team. They would then purchase the charter from Germany Racing, use the cars from Levi Family Racing, have an increased technical support from Toyota, and a possibility of Michael Jordan being involved or not. That's the rumor or the report from Bob Pockrass. Thoughts on it? I can't dive in much to or at least add anything to it, because I discussed this in the last episode of Inside the Lines a few weeks ago when this rumor first came out between Hamlin, Jordan, Bubba Wallace, and Richard Petty Motorsports. But I feel like this has some weight to it. I think this is a real possibility, mainly because Bubba Wallace left Richard Petty Motorsports. I think if this rumor took place with Wallace still employed by RPM, I just would not believe that this deal would take place. But because Bubba Wallace, he currently has no ride for 2021, you're not going to leave a team, especially with a driver like Bubba Wallace, who has a lot of sponsorship behind him in Cash App, DoorDash, Worldwide Technology, Beats by Dre, and much more. You're not going to leave a team unless you have better options. That's why this whole Denny Hamlin, Toyota, even Michael Jordan involvement makes sense to me. If those these four things come together, I'm talking about Hamlin, Jordan, Wallace, and Toyota. If those four things come together, it could potentially create a major team for Toyota. I'll even go as far to say as to maybe Furniture Row Racing standards, where they could be very competitive. Maybe not for the championship, but they could be competitive for wins. Who knows? I mean, a lot of things just point to this making sense. I mean, think about it. Germany Racing, they're going to be selling the team. Hamlin would get the charter. He has enough money to buy a charter. And on top of that, Levi Family Racing, they're going out of business. Their cars, remember, Levi Family Racing had a technical alliance with Joe Gibbs Racing this year. Hamlin drives for JGR. It would just be a lot quicker to go to a team that you already have a somewhat connection with, get the cars, mix them all up, do what you need to do to prep it up for the 2021 season. Bring in a driver like Bubba Wallace, who, let's be honest, he's a good driver. He's not an amazing driver. He's not a fantastic driver. He's a good driver, and I think he can be very competitive if you give him the right equipment. Wallace brings in a lot of sponsorship. Hamlin also brings in sponsorship. Let's not forget about that. Hamlin also does play a role. He not only does bring in money, he also brings in sponsorship. And then you throw in Michael Jordan into the mix. Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin, they have a very good relationship. Jordan has sponsored Denny Hamlin for a certain amount of times in NASCAR. Jordan Brand is currently the sponsor for Denny Hamlin's team in the eNASCAR iRacing Coca-Cola Series. Jordan also sponsored Hamlin, I think, for a NASCAR Truck Series race at Martinsville, I believe in 2013 or 2014. And I think Hamlin won that race in Jordan's name. And this is a very interesting point that I want to bring in, is that Michael Jordan, him potentially owning or at least being part of a motorsports team is not out of the ordinary. Not only, like I said, that Michael Jordan is a major NASCAR fan, he also has experience in owning a motorsports team. Back in around 2008, 2009 to I think 2012, 2013, he owned a motorcycle team that competed in tracks like Daytona and tracks across America. They didn't win any races. I don't think they were all right, I believe. But he did own a motorsports team and motorcycle. But still, he owned a motorsports team. So he has experience in the auto racing business from an owner side. So him potentially teaming up with Hamlin for a Cup Series team, it's not crazy when you take a look at all the points that I just made and why I think this deal is starting to make more and more sense the more you think about it. Now, I have to stress this. I cannot stress this enough. This is a report. You can even go as far to say this is just a rumor. There is no confirmed announcements on anything that I talked about. There's no confirmed announcements that Hamlin is buying Germany Racing's charter. There is no announcement regarding Michael Jordan. There's no announcement regarding Bubba Wallace and Denny Hamlin that is confirmed. But I will say that Denny Hamlin, whenever he has had questions to him about the subject, every single time he has said, I don't have an announcement to make yet. He didn't say yes, but he didn't say no. And that's the most important part, is that he didn't say no. anytime someone asked him about him making a new team or having Bubba Wallace on his new team. He never said no to that, so that's going to be a very important thing to keep an eye on. But yeah, that's going to conclude this episode of Inside the Lines. Guys, tell me in the comment section down below, what are your thoughts on any of the two stories I talked about? What are your thoughts on Bristol potentially holding a dirt race for future NASCAR races? And what are your thoughts, again, on this whole Denny Hamlin, Bubba Wallace, Michael Jordan, Toyota, this whole fiasco? What are your thoughts on that? But until next time, my name is JettMDK, and I'll see you guys next time.